it is my privilege, to introduce, I think, the next speaker, my former boss and a good friend, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. I first met Ban Ki-moon, he might not remember, when he was foreign minister of South Korea. And I found him to be very engaging, charming, approachable. I was a foreign minister at that time. Then became Secretary General for 10 years. I used to tease him because he appointed me to Guinea-Bissau and then to chair the UN panel on peace operations. And he gave us, me and my colleagues, only like 4 months to write the report and present to him. And I said, do you realize we are not all Koreans? And meaning, we are not all very hard working. Particularly me, coming from a tropical island, we take life more leisurely, unlike the South Koreans. So he was an incredibly workaholic and incredibly dedicated. And he continues after having left office. I mean, in touch with him frequently, asking him to support different, and he's engaged with situation in Myanmar and other situations. So it's my great privilege to introduce to you Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Mr. Secretary General.
Thank you, Your Excellency, President Ramos Horta, for your very kind introduction. It's a great honor for me to be invited to this very important gathering of Ubuntu United Nations program. And since you have already introduced about me, how we have been working closely for the peace elsewhere in Africa, and it has always been a great honor for me to work with you. You have been a source of inspiration, and you have always been very straightforward in addressing many difficult issues. And thank you very much for your invitation. And I'm also very much grateful and glad to see Her Royal Highness Princess Rem Ali, and very inspiring, very inspiring. And I have been working very closely with His Majesty King, and I hope that you continue to inspire young people and the people in the region. And thank you very much. Dear global young leaders, I'd like to say that I am hopeful as I speak to you, to so many young and diverse people of the Ubuntu United Nations cohort today. It's inspiring to be part of this new initiative and the intergenerational dialogue, and that is connecting young people and global leaders committed to building bridges and acting together for a better future. Such intergenerational connections are essential for our future and the future of our planet. In the past few years, we have witnessed an international turn towards populism. The threats against multilateralism, democracy, human rights, and sustainable development are all too real. In addition, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a profound impact on the global community. It exacerbated existing inequalities among societies most vulnerable, and it often reversed economic and social progress. It increased the global crises such as climate change, gender and educational inequalities, immigration issues, increasing rates of poverty, and advancing authoritarian regimes. But despite the global challenges we are facing today, I remain optimistic about our future because of you. This is a thanks to you. As young people, your commitment to drive a positive change helps to construct a brighter future for yourselves, for your communities, countries, and for the planet. Your guiding principle, your Ubuntu philosophy, I am because you are, represents we are all connected and have a common vision to work together towards one goal. It's a reminder for us to treat others with empathy, solidarity, and cooperation, especially in times of struggle. In times of struggle. This is important because we see global leaders who have lost their focus and who do not base their policies on inclusive human rights. We see sometimes leaders, they prioritize their personal interest and the privileges of the safety and well-being of their own people. That's very sad. It's my generation's responsibility to counter damaging, unfair, and unsustainable policies by empowering and inspiring a generation of young leaders like yourselves with the necessary skills to create a better future for all. That is why I always underline, be a passionate and compassionate global citizens. Global citizenship is above all a mental framework. It is an important concept that can serve as a unique tool to help solve some of our most pressing challenges and assist us in reaching our global goals. It serves as a blueprint in times of climate change, economic instability, social unrest, and political imbalance. Global citizens are those who identify themselves not as a member of a nation, but instead as a member of humanity more largely. They are understanding and tolerant of other people and cultures. Global citizens fight for the protection of our planet and human rights. They are committed to service and helping others. They build bridges rather than construct walls. I have been speaking out to many leaders. Please do not raise the walls. Instead, you build bridges between and among people. They look beyond the narrow prism of national and personal interest and work for a better world. President Ramos Horta just mentioned about President Mandela. I met him also, and just 1 year before he passed away, I was so much inspired by what he said. Of course, I highly appreciated and respected for what he had done. And when he said that, no, it's not me. It's not me alone. There were thousands of people, thousand people who worked together with me. At first, I thought that he tried to be very modest, but I still said that still it is you who really made the South Africans and people free. Then he said that again, same repeated. There were thousand people who fought together with me. And it is they who made our country free. So I was really inspired by what he said. That was really a global citizenship. That was real global citizenship. If the global community can show courage and empathic leadership today, we will all benefit from it by being equipped with the tools to tackle equally grave challenges which we are now facing today and tomorrow. Indeed, the active engagement, empowerment of the youth and women is critical in ensuring the success of the international community. Consider the fact that young people and women comprise at least 75% of global population. Therefore, they should get more than what you are receiving now. You are the greatest investment. For this reason, following my time as the Secretary General of the United Nations, it became my ambition to foster the leadership of women and youth in our quest to find sustainable solutions to the world's most pressing challenges. Because of that, together with the former President of Austria, Heinz Fischer, I founded the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens located in Vienna, Austria. This Ban Ki-moon Center's work is guided by the Sustainable Development Goals and the young people with the global citizens' values. We strive to create meaningful opportunities for youth and women leaders to raise their voices and take action as global citizens for a sustainable world. We are working with many young global citizens from all over the world. Our Global Citizens Scholarship, Fellowship, and Mentorship program encourage young leaders to spot the challenge in their local communities and to find a solution. Our advocacy efforts for the current decision makers at the same time call for sustainable development, climate adaptation, and transformative education. We have welcomed exceptionally aspiring young leaders from Latin America, the ASEAN region, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, who seek to strengthen their capacities, take action, and become local or international SDG leaders as part of our programs. This year, we have launched a new program called, I quote, Young Women Leadership on Climate Adaptation, unquote, to foster African women's leadership by equipping them to take climate action. Every participant in our programs implement what we call an SDG micro project for their community. These projects address one or more of the SDGs and should seek to make a sustainable impact. To date, the Ban Ki-moon Center's young changemakers have implemented over 140 micro projects around the world, reaching over 730,000 people. Dear young delegates, the theme of the Ubuntu United Nations Building Bridges, Igniting Youth Action for Unity in Diversity represents and addresses the urgency to integrate young leaders in important decision-making processes. You are not just the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today already. Your role is imperative for the realization of economic, political, and social rights, for the revival of our planet, and promotion of sustainable development. As a Secretary General of the United Nations, during my time, I was always guided by four principles: setting priorities, never giving up, focusing on the people, and standing up for the most vulnerable. I worked hard to build a consensus among 193 member states to support a detailed plan to invest in sustainable development and global poverty and hunger, and address the climate emergency, as well as expand programs to improve women's health and opportunities around the world. In 2015, the SDGs and Paris Climate Agreement were unanimously adopted. and now they serve as a collective contract between the world's governments to improve millions of lives. These two agreements present us with a roadmap for humankind's efforts to end poverty, hunger, and create the path to peace, resilience, prosperity for our planet, and guide us as we strive to secure and build on sustainable development, a greener economy, and leaving no one behind. This success is the outcome of collective efforts of so many people, not by me alone. No individual or nation can build a better future without support. Without our collective efforts, agreed on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. After my tenure was over, I am still committed to advocating the mindset of global citizenship and the importance of collective action. Today, in many developed countries, progress for the SDGs is being made. However, we are not on the accelerated path as we should be. As we have entered the decade of action last year, we need to get these global goals back on track. To accomplish this, the engagement of young people like yourselves is essential. Because the achievement of Agenda 2030 is all dependent on the empowerment and participation of young people like yourself. I can understand that the challenges of our world can make you feel powerless, and the solutions to them might feel too unattainable, but you are not alone in this. We are also seeing encouraging signs of hope in the year of 2021, and youth participation is becoming more prominent every day. As digital natives, I urge you to take every opportunity to advocate, engage, and build. Make use of the potential of social media and digital citizenship that has revolutionized the art of storytelling and activism. I want to call on you to take an active role as global citizens, think beyond national borders, raise your voice to demand action from your leaders, and embrace a global vision to achieve a better future for our planet and for humanity. Together we can create the future we want, one that is anchored in sustainability, inclusion, and empowerment for all people and our planet. You have several opportunities to do things differently than us and build back better and build back greener. Each and every one of us must continue working to make our lives as sustainable as we can, so the future generations can live in a prosperous world. I'm thankful to all of you, young leaders, who joined here today and took the decision to act. Your perspectives and actions are vital, and the future is in your hands. Remember that diversity and solidarity are a source of strength and not of weakness. I have faith that the SDGs are a rallying call for you to act for prosperity and peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best of luck for your studies and endeavors, and I hope that we can all look forward to meeting one another in the future. And thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary. Thank you so much for inspiring us today and for your call to action. In your remarks, you indicated One thing which I liked, which you started off with, you spoke about your optimism and belief in young people. You said you are optimistic because you believe in us as young people. You spoke about the need for empathy and solidarity in terms of struggle, and that we ought to be passionate and compassionate global citizenship, global citizens. And I think the theme of global citizenship is something which came through in your remarks, and about why it is more important now